Well, George, one good illustration and thing that I think is important to see, if you're in the book of Leviticus, there's just all of these verses about what's clean and what's not clean, and to be separate. This idea of separation just kind of dominates the whole book of Leviticus. And the reason, of course, is that now you have the presence of God, the very presence of God there in their midst. And God is saying, number one, you guys have got to be conscious of my holiness, that it's right here. And having God's holiness that close changes everything in their life. How they're plowing the ground, how they're spreading seeds, how they're weaving the cloth together, what they're eating, how they're preparing their food. Everything changes, okay?
Because in a sense, their pattern of life is a picture of them being set apart as holy for God.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's driven by that presence and that holiness, okay? All right, so now here we are over into the New Testament era. Well, how are we experiencing the presence of God? Well, gee, the Holy Spirit dwells within me. I mean, it's even more intense. I mean, He's even more close here. So what about the demands for holiness? God is just as holy now as He was in the Old Testament. So now His presence in my life, implications, the demand that I lead a holy life. And Peter says this, be holy for I am holy. He picks up right out of Leviticus and quotes this verse. And so now things that defile, Jesus is going to say, hey, it's not what you eat that makes you defiled, that makes you unclean, as Leviticus implies. He says it's the things that you say. And
things
so
that come out of the heart.
Yeah, so the New Testament is redefining a little bit what makes you clean, what makes you unclean. But the principle that God demands a separation between clean and unclean, that God demands a holy living. Why? Because the presence of God is just right here within me. I think that's one of the biggest applications that we see coming out of a very confusing book like Leviticus. Nonetheless, we can pull this tremendous truth over into our own day-to-day moral lives, that I need to be living a holy life because the Holy Spirit dwells within me and demands that.
And that gives a picture of the holy God we serve today as well.
Yeah, the same as from the Old Testament and forever.
So our patterns of life are very important for us as followers of Jesus in the world.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.